Hi everyone, we're back. Welcome to the channel or welcome back to the channel. I'm Jen and we have with us Amber. You want to
Hi.
say? There you go. And we have Shawnee.
Hello.
All right, and we are here to react to or discuss some crochet and knit controversy. So the first one that we have is from a Reddit thread r/crochet, and it says, "How do you say no when someone asks you to make them something?" And I wanted to do this one because I have this problem all the time. So this says, to preface, all these people are willing to pay me. Anyway, lately I've been crocheting at work. I work at a hotel, so there's tons of downtime. And a few of the regulars have asked me to make them something, which was fine at first. One was a small hacky sack for $10, and another was a small amigurumi frog for $5. Then two of my coworkers asked me to make them ponchos, and I couldn't bring myself to say no. But something of that size is going to take forever, and I really don't even want to make them. People who are shy slash introverts slash have anxiety, how do you tell people no, even when they're offering to pay?
Ooh, that's hard. Because I have a
That is
problem
hard.
saying no.
Me too. I have a problem saying no, and I would probably agree to make anything for anyone if anyone asked, even though I would not want to.
I'm too nice. That's my problem.
Hmm.
I don't want to see anybody sad. So I just let them walk all over me.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You cannot let that happen. Like personally, if somebody says, "Oh, can you make this for me?" Like let's just say if it's a wearable, I do inform people that when it comes down to wearables, I don't make wearables because of the amount of time that it takes. Now, plushie is fine, but like wearables, I just don't do because it takes up so much of my time.
But
So
then if
I
you
I have no issue with saying no.
but then you also have to get their measurements and make sure it's perfect.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Besides the whole wearable thing, which comes with a whole host of other issues, I mean, if someone asked me to make like a large amigurumi that I didn't want to make, I don't think I would know how to say no either. Or even one that I have made. Like for example, this giant bear that I'm currently making two of. I didn't really intend to do that.
Yeah, I think like
So,
when it comes down to like
Surprise!
amigurumi pieces, I don't mind making those because I know how fast I move. But when it comes down to wearables, it's a no for me, dog. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
I think the question is more like not about wearables, but it's about how do you just say no to anything that you don't want to make?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Honestly, I really don't know. You have to have the willpower.
Yeah.
Hmm. And
So, um,
honestly, there was a time I did have to say no to somebody for an amigurumi piece because of the amount of details it took.
mhm.
It was a lot. And I had to tell them, I literally had to give them back their money. I said, I'm so sorry, but this is just way too much for me. And it was just like very overwhelming. So I ended up having to tell him like, no. So I have said it one time.
Mhm. So there's people who have commented on this with some suggestions. And one of them is, thank you for the compliment. However, I cannot commit to a project of that size at this time. And that's good. But
Yeah.
somebody else says, well, show them Etsy prices of similar products because I mean, like what fair compensation looks like, I mean, a poncho is pretty much a blanket with a hole in it. And that's a
Hmm.
long time. This person said, "Oh, this is the original poster. Any advice how to backtrack after I've already agreed? There was no set price and no set time of when it would be done. More of an open-ended, sure, I can do that type of thing." And so, what would you say to that?
Backtrack. Like, you don't want to do it anymore?
But she didn't want to do it in the first place, but she's already agreed.
Sorry.
Amber's like, "I think you're stuck. There's just no way." I guess what about I'm sorry, I realized that I've overextended myself and I won't be able to make you a poncho after all, or whatever. I don't know.
I would
This is a
I would
hard one.
honestly go with that first response. But again, like if you can't do it, there's like then
Make
just don't do it.
make them aware that you can't
Yeah.
do it. Don't say you can and then you can't. And then
Yeah.
give yourself a migraine because oh my gosh, it's almost time for it to be due and you procrastinated too much.
That
Yeah.
sounds familiar.
Thank you, Jen.
Well, I mean, yeah, I get it. I really have a hard time saying no in the first place. So even if I can do it, even if I can and I just don't want to, I would probably still say yes because I'm like codependent like that. All right, let's do the next one. This person says, I had a discussion with a friend about this. I had a pattern book that I decided I didn't want to knit anything from anymore. And I hoped someone else might like it, so I donated it to one of the little free libraries near me. My friend thought that was wrong of me because the pattern designers deserve to be paid, and whoever gets the book from them got them for free, and argued it's like emailing a digital pattern to someone without them paying for it too. It's a book, though. It's not a digital PDF. So what's stopping anyone from buying a book and gifting it to someone else? No different than any other of the books in the free libraries. Why did it change things if it's a knitting pattern? I'd rather those designers get their designs shared with someone else than just take up space in my shelf, never to be knit again. So what do we think? Is it uncool to leave a pattern book in a free library? Yes or no?
I mean, if you're
I
not going to
mean,
knit from it anymore, someone
yeah.
else may as well take advantage of getting some cool free patterns.
And also
Yes.
another thing too, not a lot of people can afford like the books. So if they see something that they like and they can get it for free, that's like kind of like a blessing to them because maybe one day they were thinking about it and I was like, oh, I really wish, I had that. And then they go to check it and bam, like it's right there.
Right. So what happened? Okay, so first of all, one of you said before, it's like you're done with it. You're not going to knit from it anymore, and like
Hmm.
now someone else might as well benefit from that. What happens with a
Yeah.
digital pattern if you're like, oh, I'm never going to make this again, or I bought it and I'm never going to make it in the first place, something like that, or I made it already, now I don't want it anymore, and it's been years, and like, do I just gift it to someone else? That seems wrong.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a physical book, that's one thing. If it's a pattern that you had to pay for and download, that's another.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So where's the distinction there?
Because one, you're
I mean,
putting
like
it in
you're still
a box.
supporting the creator,
Okay.
book or physical.
So I guess when an author writes a book and they get it published, the publisher pays them for those patterns. They no longer own those patterns. The publisher owns them now. So, for instance, when our favorite crochet artist had her book published on Temu, and it was being sold on Temu, and she contacted the publisher to get it taken down. They said they couldn't do anything about it because they had authorized it to be put up on Temu. And she didn't have
Wow.
any say in that, even though she's like, I don't want to be associated with Temu and I don't want my patterns on Temu. There's nothing you can do about that.
I remember seeing that and I was gonna say something, but I'm like, I don't know. I didn't really think about that like too much at the time, but I was just looking at them like, oh, maybe, they just have like other platforms, that they're selling on. But then when you mention that now, I'm just like, oh, okay, makes sense.
Yeah. And the other thing is, libraries absolutely do have knitting and crochet books, pattern books, and magazines. So there's nothing stopping anyone from going to the library and borrowing the book. And so many people can borrow it after, you return it and somebody else borrows it, you return it and somebody else borrows it.
Yeah.
So there's no reason that you shouldn't be able to do that, especially with a physical book. I mean, the author, if they're going to get paid anything for the book sale, they're going to get paid at the time of the sale, not
Hmm.
after that. So whether you throw it in the garbage or whether you give it to someone else, the author
The
isn't going to benefit anymore.
right.
Oh, okay, yeah, makes sense now. I
I
just thought
Yeah.
maybe, somebody, who couldn't really like afford, the books and stuff like that. It was just like something that they can be grateful for to have because, they just couldn't afford it themselves.
And
Yeah.
not everyone has a library card, and I don't think library
Hmm.
cards cost anything to get for the first time, but maybe there's not a library close to them.
But I was gonna say this, like you guys also let us know down in the comments like what you think about this one because this I feel like the story is like an up or down type story where like, like it can make sense one way and then it can also make sense another way. So like how I have my thing saying like, oh, maybe it's a blessing in disguise for somebody who can't afford it. But then as Jen and Amber also states too, like, well, the author isn't really benefiting from it because somebody else has gotten it for free. So you guys
Right.
let us know what you think.
Yeah, we need to know what you think in the comment section. We'll
Mhm.
absolutely read all the comments and respond to every single one of them. Um, all right. So I'm not sure where we kind of landed on this, but I think we kind of all decided for different reasons that it's probably okay that they put it in uh
Yeah.
Yeah.
the small library. Okay. Um Here's one. This is an AITA post.
Hmm.
My friend
We
Sarah is a
love those.
really good knitter who makes a lot of cool stuff. A while ago, I saw a sweater I liked and I asked if she could make one for me, and she agreed. So for the last 2 months, she's been working on this sweater, which is the part that makes me feel kind of like an AH because she did put a lot of work into it. But here's the thing. Recently, I went to her place to hang out while she worked, and she worked on my sweater while we chatted. And when she got to the end of her ball of yarn, she put the yarn end in her mouth and rubbed them together. I'm pretty squeamish about germs and I don't share drinks, etc. Our friend group has roasted me for it for some time. So I feel like she should know this after all this time. Um, to be fair, she did apologize and promise not to do it for the rest of the sweater. But when I said I didn't feel like comfortable wearing the sweater anymore, given that she's already spat on it an unknown number of times, she got mad and said she was going to wash it, so it didn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter if she washes it or not. The thought of wearing it after she's put her saliva on it just makes me so uncomfortable. She then asked me what she was supposed to do with the sweater if I didn't want it, and I said she could do whatever she liked, but I don't want it anymore, knowing what's happened to it. And it sucks that she wasted that effort, but I didn't know she was going to spit on it. And I would have asked her not to if I knew. And really, she should have known not to do that if she knew me at all. Now things are kind of frosty between us. Am I really the a-hole? All right. So, first of all, the reason that people put ends of yarn in their mouth, which I don't do because I work on like mostly like like fuzzy yarns, like, chenille and stuff, and you don't need to do that. But when you're working with like natural fibers, a lot of people do it so that it doesn't unravel at the end, especially knitters when they're using like real wool and
Hmm.
cotton and things like that. So I mean, the last step in knitting a sweater is like blocking it anyway. You're gonna wash it a million times anyway. So I don't know. I don't think it's a big deal, but apparently this person does. Now she's like, you spent all this time on it, and like I don't even want it anymore. I mean, what do you think?
Wouldn't it just be easier to dip your finger in water to do it that way?
No, not when you like. Do you have water right next to you? You dip your finger in water all the time. No.
Well, no, but like get like a bowl of water so you're not putting it in your mouth.
Yeah, I mean. Listen, when you thread a needle with like a fine yarn, don't you wet the end of it with your saliva and stick it through the needle?
All right, fine.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's a common thing. It's because it's a, cotton thread or whatever. That's how it works. It makes the frayed ends
Yeah.
like stay together. All right,
Personally, I
so
don't see anything wrong with it as long as she washes it. I don't think it's a big deal to me.
right.
I mean, I know how some people are about germs and everything, but I'm just like, well, she says she washed it to, get rid of the germs and stuff like that. I personally feel like now the person is kind of being the a-hole because she spent all of her time knitting her this sweater or making her this sweater. I can understand why they're like in this whole debacle because, you know, yeah, she washed it. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Right.
But that's just me.
You want to hear some of the responses to this one?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um One person says, "Stop saying she spit on it. She did not. I don't know about knitting, but people put thread in their mouth all the time to help with pulling through a needle all the time. She's doing you a huge favor. This is
Hmm.
time and labor consuming, and all she gets is entitlement and ungratefulness from you. I
Hmm.
guess I should just tell my grandmother and my mother that they're disgusting too. YTA. That means you're the a-hole. Um,
Hmm.
YTA, this is incredibly common. Get over yourself. You were an absolutely horrible friend to her. Go ahead and throw out any knitted piece of clothing because trust me, it has gone through much worse than someone wetting the ends of the yarn. You do know that yarn made from sheep wool was riddled with poop and pee and mud before being sheared and cleaned, right? Have you ever heard of washing your clothes? Also, if germophobia is actually this horribly bad, that seeing someone just wet the ends of threads of yarn with their mouth makes you act like this much of an illogical butthead. This doesn't say that, but I'm paraphrasing. You need intense therapy. Somebody else says, YTA, wait until you find out about kissing. Yeah. Okay, so what do
Most
you guys think?
definitely. Yes, completely 100% the a-hole.
What do you think, Amber?
What are my options?
Um, you know that
Yes, yes,
the
and yes.
poster is the a-hole or the poster is not being the a-hole.
Well, I know, but isn't there like another thing in between?
Mm, I guess you could say there's in between is everyone sucks, but I don't think everyone sucks here. The person who is knitting is definitely they don't suck. So
No.
I don't know. I think the person who is the poster is being kind of unreasonable about the whole thing. What do you guys think? Do you agree?
Yeah,
I completely 100% agree.
there's a way they could have gone about it better.
All right, so let's do this last one. This says, I am a knitter and I enjoy making all kinds of things, but for the most part, I knit things for me or my husband. I don't have the heart to buy nice yarn, a pattern, and put hours into making something for someone just to watch it be treated like crap. I have no say over what others do with the things I give them, so I just don't. My mother in law said, I have a challenge for you if you're up to it. And she pointed a picture on her phone and said that the challenge was for me to make her a Sophie scarf that would match a dress. I asked her, why is she framing it as a challenge when it's just really her asking me to knit something for her? She didn't have an answer and just said, if I'm up to the challenge, I can give it a try. I asked my husband what I should do. He said just to flat out tell her no. But I figured it'd be nice to at least meet her halfway. So I asked her to send me a picture of the dress, and I went to my yarn store. I bought yarn in a color I thought would be good and a pair of needles from my own stash, and I got her a Learn to Knit book. The next time I saw her, I gave it all to her, the yarn and the pair of needles and the Learn to Knit book, and said, here's all the stuff that you'll need to make your Sophie scarf, except the pattern. You'll need to buy that yourself. She looked at it like, what the heck? And said in this pity voice, oh, you couldn't figure it out? I said, nope, I've made myself a few, but I thought it'd be better for you to learn how to knit and then you'd be able to challenge yourself. She frowned at it, but she didn't say anything else to me and she just set the yarn aside. She did go to my husband later and tell them that all she had done was give me a challenge, but I hadn't even tried. He heard her out, but told her it was ultimately up to me. I have unfortunately seen her posting on Facebook about how she doesn't get my generation and why we have to make everything so difficult. I thought this would be an interesting question to pose to you all. So, AITA.
No.
No.
Okay, I think I disagree here. Somebody asks you to make them something, and instead of no, I really can't commit to that or something, just like we talked about in the first one, you're going to buy them a how to knit book and a pair of needles and yarn and be like, here, make it yourself. I think that's kind of the a-hole. No,
Hmm.
it's definitely inappropriate. I wouldn't do that to my mother-in-law. I think that would be really like, she could have just said no. Instead, she's like being passive aggressive by like, here, you do it. You know what I mean? Even she even went
Yeah.
as far as asking for a picture of the dress that it was supposed to be like, me too. So like her mother-in-law is probably thinking, oh, good, she asked for a picture of the dress, so she's gonna make it. Well, I think she went too far.
I think the delivery could have been a little different
The
with like how
delivery of
she
who? The
handled it.
mother-in-law or the person who posted this?
The person who posted it. Like I get like maybe she this is kind of a tough one because yeah, like the delivery was wrong with like how she was like giving her mother-in-law the book, but maybe she could have been like, "Oh, well, maybe I can teach you how to."
Yeah, that would have been a little bit different than just going ahead and buying the yarn for the project, buying a how to knit book and giving her needles. Like that's crazy.
Okay. Um, Personally, I think maybe she wanted to get her that stuff so she can have somebody to knit with and can teach somebody else how to knit too.
You think that that's why she went and got her mother-in-law the knitting stuff so she could have somebody to knit with? I don't think so. I think it was a total like, in your face kind of thing. Like, here, you learn how to knit, you make it. Oh no. I think that the poster is the a-hole here. Even though the mother-in-law did kind of try to manipulate her into doing it. And that's like annoying, but it doesn't change it. Maybe we can say everyone sucks here. What
Yes.
do you, yeah, you think so, Amber?
Yes,
Yeah.
because the mother-in-law should have been like more clear as to why it's a challenge. Like,
Hmm.
why is this a challenge?
Right.
What, like, why am I being challenged to do it when I could very well do it? I just don't want to because I have no say over what you then do with it.
Well, true. I mean, assuming that the mother-in-law would wear it and take good care of it, who knows what she would do with it, but regardless, it was kind of deceptive to say this is a challenge. Can you do it? Oh, you're not up to it. Oh, you didn't figure it out, that kind of thing. Um but I think going here, learn how to knit and knit yourself is totally like rude, especially because when someone asks you to knit or crochet them something, they're really giving you a pretty high compliment, saying that they really admire your work,
Yeah.
and I don't know if I gave somebody some if somebody asked me to make something like that and then I gave them like a knit book, I would think it would be like really rude. I don't know.
Like a slap in the face.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like at my knitters group, like I'm the only crocheter. So people do ask me to crochet them things all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, but do you buy them in a how to crochet book and go make it yourself?
No, that's what I was about to say. I was counting, guys. I count without a stitch marker. That that's
Yeah.
how that's how crazy I am. I always count without a stitch marker.
Yeah.
Don't do what I do.
Don't do. Yeah.
But no, I wouldn't do that. So like thinking back on that now, yeah, that kind of was pretty crappy because, when I think about the ladies in my group, I'm just like, I wish I could teach somebody how to crochet, but I can't do that. So I'd be happy and honored to make them whatever that they're asking me for. Like one lady, she asked me to make a bear for her, but this was made out of like some kind of like wool yarn. It was literally like wool. So like my hands were kind of
Mm.
like that, but she paid me for it, which I was so grateful for. And I brought it to her like that following week. So she was very happy with it.
That's nice, but this mother-in-law isn't saying she's gonna pay for it or anything. She's
Oh
just
yeah, that's
saying,
true as well.
and even if she was, I mean, it's like, oh, it's a challenge for you, and it's like this a person has already, stated that like they don't knit things for other people because of various reasons, and that's like a thing that they just already know.
That's a boundary they have in place.
Yeah, it is. You all have to let us know what you think in the comments about this one because this is kind of like we're not really coming to a huge agreement here, but I think we're more leaning on the the side of, that the poster is, kind of in the wrong here. But let us know what you think in the comments. And
Do you disagree?
yeah.
What are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
do you agree or disagree? Definitely. We want to know. We want to know all your thoughts. So if you've made it this far in the video, thank you for sticking around. Comment a ball of yarn emoji so that we know that you're here, so that we know who the real ones are. And let us know what you were working on while you watched this video. But everybody have a good night,
And
and we'll see you later.
Stay awesome,
bye,
people.
everybody.
Okay.